2025 has been pretty hot, especially when it comes to eccentric personalities on the internet. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and have never seen anything quite like this. Never had so many stories to tell. Some of them I saw coming from a mile away, but others came from nowhere. So far, 2025 has been a year of controversy, tragedy, and a scandal, not just for the entire world, but also the people that I cover. So today, in no particular order or ranking, we're gonna go through some of the most insane lolcow controversies of 2025 so far, from people we cover to ones that you've probably never heard of. These are some of the biggest situations this side of the internet. Foodie Beauty's cat karma. Chantal Marie, better known as Foodie Beauty, is another infamous internet personality, mainly known for her vulgar stories, many controversies, and the string of different men who have come in and out of her life. A couple of years ago, Foodie met a man named Salah, who is from Kuwait, and she would strike up a relationship with him, going so far as to call herself his wife, and also moving to Kuwait. And one thing I want you to note before we get into what happened recently is that during this move, Chantal would get rid of a cat in an extremely improper manner, leading to outrage and speculation over the animal's fate. Fast forward a couple of years, Foodie is yet again in cat drama. One thing that Chantal has really struggled with ever since moving to Kuwait is conforming to their laws. There were many things that she would be allowed to do in Canada that are not allowed in Kuwait, and one of these things is soliciting donations online. This doesn't mean you can't receive them, you just can't ask for them. And this is where she ran into a little bit of trouble. She would find a baby kitten on the street, proceed to take it, and use it to solicit donations online. When people started pointing out that this wasn't allowed, Foodie would say that she simply never asked for donations in the first place, and that people were lying.
We're not accepting, there's like this big drama post on their page, like, we are dealing legally with people asking for illegal donations for the cat. Like, what? I hope they're not referring to me, because I did not do that whatsoever. Like, what?
Despite Chantal's claims, there are dozens of clips to the contrary. Clips that Foodie deleted, but eagle-eyed community members had saved.
Start a GoFundMe? No, we could just do my PayPal if you guys want to send money to the... She's panting. Okay, let's bring her home. Anyway, if you guys want to help out, because the vet's going to be a bit costly. It's just an unexpected expense. I know, we're going to do our best. But if you want to help, that's my PayPal. I know what, I'm going to put my PayPal after so we can directly get the money so that we can buy stuff for her. Oh.
We currently don't know the extent of trouble that Foodie is in for this. Speculation has been running absolutely wild on the subject. Some people believe that she has already fled Kuwait back to Canada. This theory is supported by a lack of posting over the past week, while others think that her husband, who remained in Kuwait, will end up facing the consequences of these actions. We do not know for certain, but what we do know is that the shelter that ended up taking the baby kitten has been contacted about Foodie's actions, and it seems that they will be reporting it to the proper authorities. Only time will tell how this situation unfolds, and if Foodie will face any consequences for her actions. Idubbz. Ian Joma is another very well-known internet figure. Once beloved, Ian has now become the subject of ridicule by a wide swath of the internet. And this year I'd say it's worse than ever. It all started when someone who I haven't even brought up in this video before, Ethan Klein, H3H3, started to receive a number of concerning threats and CPS visits to his home. And Ian, who is supposed to be friends with Ethan, seemed less than concerned. I think that it was a sign of things to come, a sign that Ian and his wife had fallen deeply into the orbit of Hassan Piker, a person who thoroughly hates Ethan. But things didn't stop there, not even close, because Ian would make a video on H3H3. It would be the return of his popular series Content Cop, and he would use this video to be hypercritical of Ethan. All of this is happening while Creator Clash 3 is around the corner, and some of Ian's stances caused some of his fighters to drop off of the card, specifically Harley Morenstein, Epic Mealtime, along with 2 of H3's own employees. Backlash from this video and subsequent fallout with Ethan got so bad that Ian and his wife Anissa had to step down from Creator Clash, saying they would no longer be involved in the event. But it's actually after they dropped out that things got even worse. It turned out that the Jomas would be receiving money from Creator Clash, somewhere in the realm of 30%, from what they called the for-profit side of the event. And personally, I've never heard of a charity event doing this before. From what I could gather, the Jomas would be taking a percentage of seat sales, while the actual donations to charity would happen through a link on the website. A lot of the specifics are still up in the air, but I only assume that more is going to come out with time, especially now that more people are starting to come forward with their stories on Idubbz, like his own boxing trainer, who had some pretty crazy things to say about both members of the couple.
It's totally up to you. You can pretend like you don't even know what I'm talking about if you want. But what I've heard is that she was hitting on one of his sparring partners and was obsessed with him and gave him a VIP pass to the event.
A lot of his sparring partners got the passes, but she definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. And then even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it. And then
I want to say that I want to say that before. So Anissa never gave shout outs to Michael training Ian at all, but she put out the first video of Ian like getting rocked in sparring when Ian was sparring with her crush. Yeah. It
was our friend Gabe.
She shared it. Yeah, and we have a clip too. You guys can share.
I would call him Gorgeous Gabe.
This is just a small piece of what the boxing coach had to say about Ian. He said that eventually Ian fired him because he made him feel like his father did when he yelled at him. He said that Ian would stink up the gym, and that his wife would tell him when he was hungry. This situation with Ian and Anissa is so crazy, and I cannot wait to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. We've been fed bits and pieces over the years, but I know one day the full truth is going to come out, and it's going to be nuts. Idubbz may have made his grand return with Content Cop, but I think his career is in more of a free fall than ever. Bossman Jack's legal trouble. Austin Peterson, also known as Austin 007 or Bossman Jack, is one of the internet's most infamous gambling addicts. I've done 2 videos now covering Austin losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, usually resulting in him destroying a piece of his parents' property. But if I'm being honest, these rages are fueled by far more than gambling losses. Austin also has a serious substance problem, particularly the one that rhymes with Jack, and this is what's led to his legal issues. After being charged with possession and thrown in jail, Bossman was swiftly released, now on probation, and required to spend time at a rehab facility, where Bossman would make the most of his time. His phone time, that is, streaming and gambling from rehab, with the very limited amount of cell phone time that he was given. But despite this, Austin was released from rehab early, returning to his parents' home and falling back into his old habits worse than ever before. And as a surprise to no one, Austin would fail one of his mandatory tests, leading to the issuing of warrants for his arrest, something that he found out about while live.
No way, I'm Natty. Do I really have one? Do I really have one? No, dude. No, I don't. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. No, I don't. Oh my god. I gotta go, guys. Oh my god. How do you know? I bet I do. How do you know I don't MM? I might have one. No, I bet I do, bro. Oh my god, I gotta go.
Big ups to Pickle Time for that clip. Great channel to keep updated with Bossman and people like him. Austin would be issued 2 warrants to my knowledge, one for his possession case, and the other one talking about his attack on his father, lovingly dubbed by the community as Rat Dad. Their fight happened years ago, but it seems like he's still facing the repercussions of that incident. The police swiftly arrested Bossman after issuing these warrants, and he hasn't been seen out of jail since. Many people expected that he would be out already due to plot armor, but to my knowledge he will remain in there for the foreseeable future, most likely the best outcome for his health. Cyrax versus Low T. Chance Wilkins, better known as Cyrax, is an infamous internet character. Not that I'm saying he's playing a character in any way, shape, or form, because what's going on is very real. Chance is infamous for his predatory behavior, extreme rages, and beef with now deceased live streamer Music Biz Marty. The story of Cyrax is so long and complicated that someday it will get a video of its own. But all you need to know for this segment is that a fan of Cyrax's by the name of Big T would travel to his house to protest Chance. Big T had attempted to foster a friendship with Cyrax, only for it to devolve into a feud. Well, during Big T's protest, him and Chance got into a physical altercation. Every second caught on camera.
You gave my chain a gift to the police. I went to the police and it's not there. Then I see you message me and you threatened me.
I didn't do shit.
You didn't with the knife?
No, I didn't.
Punch me again. I swear to God, watch what happens.
You need to back off.
In the house!
You need to leave now before
Or what?
Or I'm gonna beat your.
Make me.
You won't regret.
Don't make me drop you, Chance. Back up.
Do it.
Back up. I try to be
Do
your
it.
friend.
You didn't do shit. You lied.
The only one that stood up for you, all the trolls,
I've had
you're
you.
begging. Help me, help me.
I will knock your ass out if you
Do
leave.
it.
Leave.
Do
right
it.
now. No.
Do it.
No,
Because you lost.
I lost. You're a bitch. So's your girl.
Chance?
So back up.
Just go, man.
And you put your hands on me so you got punched.
I didn't do
That's one punch.
Oh, you missed.
Come here.
You missed.
Come here.
bitch.
Come here.
You missed.
You want to do it again?
You missed.
You want to do it again?
Despite clearly being on the receiving end, Chance would declare himself the victor, also saying that he would be sending the cops after Big T, also known as Alex.
I am sore, but I'm okay. I'm good. Now, I have someone I want to address here, which is Alex Tiffini, aka Big T. You were on our f***ing property, waving your f***ing phone in my face, and I told you multiple times to get your f***ing phone out of my goddamn f***ing face, bro. We told you 3 different f***ing times you ain't supposed to be here. And what did you do all 3 times? So all 4 times, including yesterday, you were f***ing trespassing.
All of this backfired spectacularly for Big T. He thought that this would get him the love and adoration of the Cyrax community, but it did the exact opposite. He was branded Low T and has descended down a dark path of becoming his own kind of lolcow, receiving nearly only ridicule online, and now facing real-life consequences for his actions that day. World of Joshua Block. Joshua Block, better known as World of Tshirts, is a man who I have thoroughly documented on this channel. If you need a refresher, I highly recommend my World of Tshirts story video, covering what seems to be a rise and a fall happening at the same time. Josh has gone from a kid viral on TikTok for singing in Times Square to a violent, liquor-fueled wild card. The last few years have been nothing but controversy for Josh, but what I want to focus on today are his international antics, starting with a Japan trip that many assumed he would never return from. Japan is a very popular tourist destination, and Josh is a very popular internet personality, so it was only a matter of time before someone told him to put the fries in the bag in Japan. But when they did, Josh went off on not only the people who said it, but also random Japanese citizens who had nothing to do with the situation.
Fries in the
Hey, shithead! I make 400 grand a year, bitch! Hey, shithead! It's on now!
We're not gonna fight man boots.
Then take back what you fucking said!
I'm never taking back anything I said. I love
You!
Oh, come on, man. Ignore that, man. Ignore that.
You don't ever say put the fries in the bag and get away with it! I'm throwing my phone away! I don't want to do TikTok anymore! The stupid TikTok, it's all your fucking fault!
Put the fries in the bag!
Yeah, try me! I live in the Bronx, I'll rough you up!
Eventually, one of these citizens got fed up and saw Josh do something wrong, performing a citizen's arrest and giving us one of the most viral World of T-Shirts clips of the year.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Josh was promptly released by the Japanese authorities, given no consequences for his actions. I believe that he is still able to return to the country to this day. But another one of his trips wouldn't go so smoothly. After trying to enter Dubai, Josh would be deported, saying that it was due to the subway incident of last year, where he was caught subway surfing and taken away in handcuffs. He said it was for this reason that Dubai would not allow him in, and that's probably for his own benefit, because I doubt his usual routine would fly there. Aside from this, Josh has been doing a lot of traveling. Him and Mr. Based are seemingly no more. Josh has a new manager and even a cameraman, but he hasn't changed a bit. So Josh is bound to find himself in more trouble. It's really just a matter of time. Andrew Ditch. Andrew Ditch is a man that needs no introduction on this channel. I've made tons of videos on the horrible things that he's done, but 2025 might be one of his worst years ever, with Andrew finding himself in two major controversies. The first pertaining to the passing of his mother. Earlier this year, Janet Ditch would tragically pass away after many years of health struggles, and as many expected, Andrew would find a way to make this all about himself, initially addressing his mother's passing in a community post where he says, and I quote, "I forgive you for not accepting my incontinence," among many other terrible things. But it doesn't stop there. In fact, it gets so much worse. Andrew has been staying at a group home out of state, but he would travel back to New York for his mother's funeral, and once again make the event all about himself, bringing his headphones and AAC device. But one of the main things that people took issue with was how Andrew treated his father and brother, claiming that they helped him get changed and clean up before the funeral, which included Andy's diaper. Now, there's a mountain of evidence that says Andy needs no help with these things, and that he derives some kind of twisted pleasure from it all. So people were horrified that he had roped Tom and Joe into this, praying that it was just another one of the many lies Andrew told. And that would be the end of the funeral situation, but far from the end of controversy Andy would find himself in this year. The next big thing to happen is honestly horrifying. Proof came out that Andrew Ditch had been playing video games with children no older than 15, and that this had been happening for a while.
Empty out your fucking Yeah. No killing Andy, bro.
No teaming on this kid. No teaming on this kid. No teaming. Andy win.
No killing him at all. Well, no, he still wants us to try a little bit, but not so hard.
He doesn't know how to grab a gun. Is Andy like your brother?
No, he's my friend. Andy is like 30-something, bro. Pretty sure. I don't know.
Go back to lobby?
Yeah. I'm about to get off of Fortnite, okay?
Why is that?
'Cause I'm just done with Fortnite for today. For now.
You're done with it?
Yeah, just for now. I'm gonna be coming to your house in a little bit.
How you know?
Those kids don't sound very old at all, and they're playing with a man who has a capacity of evil that they could never fathom. Andy has made numerous disturbing posts about children, even in the past proclaiming that he needed the companionship of a young girl. It's all extremely horrifying, and I have no idea how these kids' parents haven't figured out that they're playing with a 40-year-old man yet, and I hope something stops it soon, but more and more clips are being released every day of Andy playing video games with kids, from Fortnite to Roblox. It seems that he has found a new way to victimize people, and I shudder to think what is actually going on behind the scenes. Rekieta Law sentenced. Nick Rekieta, better known as Rekieta Law, was once a well-respected lawyer, sharing his knowledge on the subject in his videos. But as time went on, people began to notice that something was off. Nick seemed gaunt, out of it, and completely different to who he had been in previous years. Well, after an incident extremely similar to when DSP left the camera on, he became a very well-known, infamous internet character, and things got only worse when he was accused of some absolutely horrible things. Once again, this is a subject that deserves a video of its own, and that will be coming in the future, but let's just say the allegations include endangerment of children, a very toxic polyamorous relationship, and copious amounts of substances. And earlier this year, Rekieta was sentenced for possession and given parole. I highly doubt that this is the end of Rekieta's legal troubles, but only time will tell.
Guys, I'm 41. I'm 41. I've spent 20 years of my life not having as much fun as possible because I was worried about the way other people thought about things, the way other people interpreted things, the way other people judged things. And interestingly enough, it was people that were like close to us. And I don't give a about them anyway, because off in general, like if you know me, you know, like I don't give a shit anyway. When you work your whole life for someone else and you have to abide by rules and then suddenly you don't have them, my God. You get to be you. You get to be you. And all I want to do in life is just be me.
Wings of Shovin' Kelly. Jordy Jordan, better known as Wings of Redemption, would find himself in one of his most serious controversies this year. After spending 2024 building the LolCow Live brand with Boogie2988 and DJ Killer Keemstar, 2025 was looking extremely up for Wings. But as he's done every single time that he starts to see a modicum of success, Wings self-sabotages, and this time in a pretty disgusting way. LolCow Live would be hosting what they called Fat Camp, and the goal was to get all of them to lose weight, so tensions were high, and eventually Keemstar and Wings would find themselves in an altercation, with Wings going for Keem's eyes. Well, eventually this fight was broken up, and both sides would leave to cool off, but when Keemstar came back on camera to continue to talk about the situation, Wings would storm onto camera, and he is making a beeline for Keemstar. All the while, Wings is being held back by numerous people, mainly his wife Kelly, and in the process of getting to Keemstar, Wings shoves her onto a table. Wings claims that she tripped, but it's extremely clear what happened. In the aftermath of this incident, Wings would leave LolCow Live and he has yet to return, going back to his roots, streaming video games to an increasingly smaller audience. Darkside Phil. Philip Burnell, better known as Darkside Phil, is one of the oldest LolCows on the internet. A long time ago, Phil was a halfway successful gaming YouTuber, but due to his abrasive personality, insatiable greed for donations, and overall bad attitude, he has become as infamous as he is today. We also can't forget about the incident, or the dozens of times that he's gone viral on Twitter for his poor gameplay. But we're here to talk about something very specific horrific that happened to Phil earlier this year. Philip had captured the attention of the Kino Casino, a live stream run by Andy Worski and Triple P. They had been watching DSP for a while and proclaiming themselves massive fans of Phil's. And of course, this eventually caught his attention, and would accumulate in multiple collaborations between the two parties, and the birth of a new show called Smark Guys. The show would feature Triple P and DSP talking about wrestling, but it was really just a way to pry information about Phil and sneak troll him, something which everyone but Phil picked up on very quickly. He absolutely loved Andy and Triple P, and would tell his audience over and over that they would never betray him.
Me and those casino guys have a chemistry. We do. And it's weird because we never had even spoken with each other until last Tuesday, not even a week ago. Right? And then all of a sudden we just realized we kind of work. We work off of each other. We react to each other very well. And I feel like each one of us has intelligent, interesting things to say in a conversation that are different takes and different perspectives. Right? And I think that's really good. They can't believe it. Like, they actually think that this is like a giant plan. To this day, they're still saying, listen to this, they're still saying that Kino Casino is setting me up. Like, this is still a Carrie-like situation where the pig's blood is going to dump out of the sky onto my head. They're still saying that. They can't cope with the fact, they can't handle the fact that actually things are going well for me.
Philip was riding high, seeing an increased amount of viewership and donations, but things fell apart so quickly. Triple P would make a comment about the weight of Phil's wife, Kat, that Phil found very offensive, and it would lead to this huge rift between the two, which is when the casino decided it was time to dump the bucket and to absolutely go in on Phil.
Kat! Fat! Kat!
They would leak text messages with Phil, reveal embarrassing information. There is so much that this is another one of those topics that deserves its own video. But in the aftermath, of course, Phil would claim that he knew they were going to betray him the whole time, referring to himself as a king snake. It was all just pure cope. Ever since the fallout with the Kino Casino, Phil has went viral on Twitter numerous times for the aforementioned bad gameplay, specifically Doom the Dark Ages and Elden Ring Night Rain. Though I'm sure this is not the last time that we'll hear from Phil, it is one of the most interesting arcs that he's been on in quite some time. Ever since views, and more importantly to Phil, donations continue to dwindle. Kingcobrajfs. Joshua Saunders, better known as Kingcobrajfs, has had a very interesting year so far. Hot off the heels of his breakup with Jessica, our gothic bad boy would slowly put out more content, until something absolutely insane happened. The Kingcobrajfs YouTube channel, which had just hit over 100,000 subscribers, was deleted, or at least that's how it appeared, because you could no longer find it, and Josh no longer had access. He would then begin posting on his backup channel, Josh Saunders, but tragedy was far from through with him yet, because his good friend Walt would pass away, and this is where the problems really begin. Josh would start a GoFundMe to raise money for Walt's funeral, and the description of this GoFundMe reads, "My name is Josh and I suffer from Asperger's, and my dear friend Angie lost her husband Walt, whom is a vet and served our country, the good old USA, in the Vietnam War, as a sniper for the Marines, whom also contracted Agent Orange as a result of his services. Angie is struggling to pay for the funeral and can't afford her house bills and can't pay rent as a result of funeral costs and overpriced rent. She's taking Walt's passing very hard, as am I, and his amazing daughter is doing her best to help, but a little extra would help. I deal with nasty YouTube trolls who would do anything they can to harass me and my family and friends. I've started this GoFundMe to help out Walt's daughter and wife with the burden of costs and life. This is being raised for a good cause and a peace-loving woman and her awesome daughter. This GoFundMe became a hot topic of discussion amongst his community. Some people donated, others reported it, and then some created trollsome GoFundMes of their own. Josh's battle, autism, and online trolls. My name is Jock Sandwich, and I'm starting this GoFundMe for my buddy Josh Saunders. He has Asperger's autism and depression, and is bullied by hateful trolls. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Josh has saddled himself with an immense responsibility, which is monitoring the Walt and Angie Knight GoFundMe page, and other funds are required to ensure he doesn't spend those funds on DoorDash, booze, and adult internet services. In the event that he does, there will be emergency funds to supply him with basic needs. There were tons of GoFundMes like this, and I think that might be part of the reason why PayPal took Josh's down. Something that he of course blamed on the trolls.
What's up, YouTube? So check this out. My YouTube trolls have hacked Walt's GoFundMe page that I set up for him. And it's been really f***ing weird because the money I had for Walt saved up so far to give to Angie is now gone. And it sucks. I would never do anything to screw over people that I care about, and I make plenty of good money just doing my thing on YouTube, so what would be the point of it? Why would I spend years hanging out with Walt and Angie, ordering DoorDash whenever they needed pop or like groceries or food or trash bags, taking out their trash? I did the best I could to take care of Walt and Angie, and I want to continue to back off from their daughter and just periodically check on Angie to make sure she's safe.
As if things couldn't get any worse for Josh, even more GoFundMes would come out. Josh Saunders' Rotting Gums Fund So He Can Kiss Angie, started by Clint Saunders. My devout Christian son Joshua Fat Saunders has been having issues with his gingivitis. After eating a diet of communion wafers and Kool-Aid for the past 23 years, he is very into our Lord and Savior and wishes to get some help with his dental situation. Plus, he has a crush on Angie's daughter and actively stalks her. It was a very bleak time in the Cobraverse, but Josh was making the most of it, continuing to increase content production. And then, finally something good happened to him. He got his Kingcobrajfs YouTube channel back. I have no clue how he pulled that off, but it seems like ever since he's kind of lost interest in the GoFundMe. He's now moved on to a new venture called Cobra Coin, an absolutely terrifying concept that Josh would have his own meme coin. He's only talked about it a couple times. I hope that he doesn't take it any further, but these are definitely interesting times in Casper. Tophiachu. Tophia Slidell, better known as Tophiachu, is another one of these people that needs no introduction on this channel. I've made 5 or 6 videos on her antics over the past couple years, but nothing pales in comparison to what happened in 2025. Tophia's brother, Donald Slidell, better known as Brother Chu, would pass in a carjacking gone wrong. Mama Chu was also injured in the incident. The situation led to a lot of people questioning their stance on Tophia, and she accumulated more support than she had ever seen in her internet career. But all of that isn't necessarily what's controversial. It's some of Tophia's actions in the aftermath. The trouble began when Tophia started a GoFundMe for her brother's funeral. In the end, this GoFundMe accumulated around $7,000, and Tophia was receiving countless donations over her Cash App. But people began to take issue with some of Tophia's spending habits. They believed that the money would be going towards getting her and Mamachu off the streets and Donald a funeral. But people started to notice that Tophia was spending it on clothes and food. The criticism got even worse when it was revealed that Donald Jr. was cremated by the state, and that anything further for him was unlikely. So many have accused Tophia of starting this GoFundMe under false pretenses, even reporting it to GoFundMe, and it's gone down and came back up a couple times, but still seems to be there currently. The situation is still unfolding, but it is considered to be the top controversy of the year, one that I think will only get worse with time. The Keemstar leaks. Once again, we're talking about DJ Killer Keemstar, also known as Daniel Keem. You've already heard the Wings segment, so you know plenty about LolCow Live, that it's a show run by Boogie, Keem, and Wings, or at least it was. Well, another big controversy that came out from them was Keemstar's messages with his secretary. Keem has tried to create numerous spin-off shows to LolCow Live, and in one of these there was a woman named Lynx. She was booted from her original show, but Keem Keem kept her on as some kind of a secretary, and somehow this evolved into some kind of a relationship, and eventually adult messages were sent between the two. And personally, I think that Lynx was planning on leaking them the whole time, because she would record and screenshot a great many of these messages and conversations. They are extremely explicit, Keem even giving nicknames to certain parts of his body, so I'm gonna show you just a little bit. It's absolutely hilarious.
Do you think I would have got it? I think so, yeah. Especially right now. Especially right now. Dude, I think so too. Bro, I think you would like literally be playing with it. Bro, I'm telling you, I would have you maxing on this Discord if this shit didn't break. It would be so fucking hot, dude. You would be flooding. You would have to get flood insurance, bro. I'm telling you. We were there.
Well, I guess now
we should file a complaint with Discord for this block. This is wrong.
Hey, you got the connections. Do what you gotta do.
I cannot describe to you just how cringy all of this was. And she knew it too, that's why she recorded. Daniel was obviously intoxicated, but it's still a pretty crazy thing to do with one of your employees especially. On top of that, he has a fiancée, Brantley, but it seems like they're cool with stuff like this. I can only imagine the Keem stories that we haven't heard about. Nova's Discord disaster. I'm gonna keep this one relatively short since I just did a video on it, but Gabriel Gage, better known as Nova Online, opened yet another Discord server. He has a long track record of mismanaging them and using them as a place where he can talk to kids. This time he claimed the server was 18+, but kids got in anyways. It was an absolute disaster that ended with it being hacked and deleted. Nova has since gone on to be accused of far more predatory behavior and is shaping up to be the most infamous character of 2025. Sierra the Furry. If you want to watch one of the craziest stories that I've covered all year, press the video on your screen. Sierra the Furry keeps getting worse.